recorded live in Jacksonville, Florida. This is Trivia Warfare. More than just a pub quiz, Trivia Warfare is your gateway to a worldwide trivia community. Join your hosts, Jonathan.
We just described Ric Flair as Neanderthal Man and Planet of the Apes.
Chris.
Yo, we going down to Sesame Street.
That's your impression of hardcore rap?
Carmela.
That would irritate the hell out. I'm like, I just want my groceries. My ice cream is melting.
Ben.
4 halogens in that list. Oh my God.
You were like, it's not the halogens. I'm like, no, Ben, no.
Those damn halogens got me again.
And the rest of the Trivia Warfare Army for another week of fun and games. Now here's your host, Jonathan Oakes.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Trivial Warfare. We are the podcast that takes the pub quiz out of the pub and brings it home to you. My name is Jonathan, and I am here today with Carmela Smith. Hello, Carmela.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
I am here with special guest Kit Sekelsky. Hello, Kit.
Hello.
Good morning to you. And we have 2 awesome guests today that are not special guests. They're just awesome guests. So it ranks like special and then awesome. And then there's all other levels of guests, but we don't have to worry about those.
Make it weird.
They're all special.
I realized when I said 2 awesome guests that I didn't want to exclude Kit from being awesome. And then I felt bad, and that's what made it weird. Yeah. So Will Krasnoff is with us today. Hello, Will.
Hi, thanks for having me, John.
Welcome to the show.
And I appreciate the introduction.
Absolutely. And John Speas is with us today. Hey, John.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. So I want to get to know all of you a little bit better. We will start with Kit. Kit, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
I think you know me well enough by now, Jonathan.
I do, but the listeners need to know you.
I am Kit Sekelsky. I live in Kent, Ohio, where I am a freelance graphic designer and trivia writer and co-creator of the Everyday Q&A trivia calendar, available now at triviacalendar.com. And a fun fact about myself is that my very first job in high school as a 17-year-old was as a radio DJ.
Really? At what kind of station?
An AM adult contemporary station in my rural Pennsylvania hometown. Not that rural, but remote anyway. The main portion of my job was sitting there during Pittsburgh Pirates games, which were syndicated on the network, and waiting for inning breaks and pitching changes to manually insert the ads on 8-track and play them. I sometimes got to fill in on shifts and actually, play the music and introduce the music and whatnot.
I had that same job.
Wonderful.
Doing Sunday mornings, like coming in and switching off of the network nighttime broadcast onto the live stuff, and then plugging in the commercials and making sure that
I've done that a few times.
Move pot one down, pot one up.
Yeah. I
had to do reel-to-reel traffic recording. So the weather guy from the newspaper or from the news station would call in, and I have to record him on a reel-to-reel and then cut it and splice it together. It was like it was not easy. I hated that.
I didn't have to do that portion. I occasionally had to put something on the reel-to-reel, but I didn't have to do any recording or splicing. I do still have, I believe, several of the local public service announcements memorized because we had to play them like 3 times an hour.
Daniel's Kids, for sure.
We had the Compliance Alliance, which was basically just warning convenience stores to not sell cigarettes to teens because they may be undercover cops.
Awesome. All right. And Will, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
I am from New York, New York. I'm a software engineer here in the city. I work at a startup. I guess something fun about me is I just completed building my first PC, which is a project I've been working on for probably a year and a half right now. Been sort of squirreling away components since the quarantine, and finally got around to putting them together. So
awesome.
The pitfalls of building a machine over the course of the year and a half seems to be that the components that you bought at the beginning of the year and a half are already out of date by the time you get the whole thing moving at the end of the year and a half.
Yeah, well, that helps with getting the final pieces, right? When the next gen is released, then everything you can get the old ones, right? So that's kind of what put me over the edge there. Yeah, it's fun. It's sort of like very nerdy adult Legos. So I would recommend it if you're even tangentially interested in the world of computing.
I'm with you. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you've ever built your own computer from scratch.
With help.
Well, there's three out of 5 of us. It's a nerdy quorum. That's good. I love it. I think it's fun. I used to do it. Every computer I had for about 15 years I put together. I loved it.
The computer I took to college, my boyfriend at the time helped me assemble, but I haven't done it since then.
Nice. IKEA should sell computers. Okay, John, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
I'm John Speas. I'm a elementary music teacher from Las Vegas, Nevada. And something fun about myself, I'm one of the few people I know who can actually say that I've been to the country of Liechtenstein.
Ooh. Tell us about it. What was that like?
We were on a family trip, and we were in Germany, and then we went down into Switzerland. And then on the trip back, we had kind of a tour guide with us. On the trip back up into Germany, we noticed that we were going to be traveling right next to Liechtenstein. So we asked them to stop in Vaduz so that we could have lunch there, so that we could say that we had actually been to Liechtenstein.
I love it. That's awesome. He's like, we had to stop in Vaduz. I dropped a deuce and then got out of Liechtenstein.
Not to get too political, on a trip to Atlantic City a number of years ago, I did have a friend that went into the Trump Hotel for one purpose and one purpose only. In the correct location.
It's a political statement. I think it's wonderful. All right. Well, we are going to have a great time today. We've got a great crew, and we're going to have a lot of fun. And we're going to get started with warming up Chris.
It's time to warm it up on Trivial Warfare today. And there's only one person who can warm it up for the TWA, and that's Chris. And sometimes Jonathan.
And I'm excited to tell you that Warming Up Chris today is sponsored by Water Cooler Trivia. So be sure to listen to the Water Cooler Trivia ad after the midpoint today to find out how you can get your office hooked up with an awesome trivia game. That's Water Cooler Trivia. All right, let's do Warming Up Chris. And I think playing the part of Chris today will be Kit.
It is. And you had to put together an ideal Warm It Up Chris for me. It will be this. So I hope you guys have similar interests to me. It will make this a lot easier. I know if you do. So I will be giving each of you a name, and you have to tell me if it is an actual species of bird or a Dungeons and Dragons monster.
I feel like I should really be good at this one. I really feel like I should be good. I hope.
If you're in on one or the other, hopefully it will work out for you. Okay, so I'm going to go around the circle in the order that you are all in on my screen. So that will start with Jonathan. Your creature is the banana quit.
Well, I've never heard of a banana quit, and I've got a pretty good amount of experience with D&D over the course of lots of video games, actually playing with an awesome group on the last few years. So I'm going to have to say it's a bird.
It is indeed a bird.
Sweet.
All right, John, you're up next. Your creature is the quipper.
And one for the quipper.
Well, this is not going to be good for me because not only am I not all that familiar with birds, but even though I actually did grow up playing RPGs, I actually didn't play D&D a lot. I had played a lot of other RPGs, so this is not going to help me. So I just going to take a 50-50 shot, and I'm going to guess bird.
That is incorrect. That is a D&D monster. And I should have looked up all of
I was about to say, what kind of monster is a quipper?
Yeah. So that was one that I got from a list that I am not personally familiar with. So
I'm going to look it up while you do the next one. Let's see if we can find it.
Carmela, yours is the axe beak.
That literally could go either way. I'm going to say that's a D&D monster.
You are correct.
And a quipper, by the way, it looks like a piranha. A quipper is a carnivorous fish with sharp teeth and can adapt to any aquatic environment, including cold subterranean lakes, and they gather in swarms. So yeah, they're legitimately. I'm looking at a picture of it. It is totally a piranha, and it's like a level 1 or 2 kind of thing that you would fight. It looks like.
And then the axe beak, does have the form of a bird, but it is not a real bird. It is in D&D.
Let me show you a picture of the Quippa.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's
Indeed, piranha.
Yeah, exactly.
Will, Kakapo.
Kakapo. Okay, so yeah, I'm not 100% sure about this one. So I will say that while I never actually played D&D, I did own the monster manual when I was like 9 years old because I like to read about it. But so we'll see how much of that I retained. The Kakapo sounds like a cockatrice, which is sort of a type of monster thing, but I am going to go with bird for this one.
It is indeed a bird. I believe they are in New Zealand, but they are definitely in New Zealand. I don't know if they're only in New Zealand, and they have like a weird little short down slanted beak.
Is it related to the cockatoo?
I don't believe, no.
We just add caca as a prefix?
Actually spelled entirely different. It is Kakapo.
Oh.
Ah.
Yeah, sorry. I apologize.
Caca.
Yes.
It's one of those episodes, Jonathan, huh?
If Lord was here, we'd go with that one for a while.
Jonathan, put down your glass because it's your turn.
Yes.
You have the bearded devil.
A bearded devil is legit a D&D devil who has like a snaky beard that can attack you as a bonus action kind of thing.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. That is one that I am familiar with from playing, that I have been attacked by and have attacked. John, this one, I guarantee that you will get correct. Cockatrice.
D&D monster?
Yeah. Will had called it out as a D&D monster minutes ago. So.
I want to the caca quattro, the caca quint is going to be very dangerous.
All right, Carmela, you are up next with the tiny tyrant mannequin. With tiny and tyrant spelled like you would think, and mannequin is MANAKIN.
Tiny tyrant mannequin. Sounds like the basis for a Stephen King story.
For real.
just like a little plastic monster that crawls across your desk.
It's a character in Night of the Museum 3. It's Napoleon.
I'm going to say that that's a bird.
It is indeed a tiny little tyrant bird. I don't know why I can't say tyrant today.
We're killing it. Good job, y'all.
All right, up next, Will, the satanic nightjar. Word nightjar is one word.
Ooh.
And spelled the way that you would think it's spelled.
Yes, everything is spelled as you would think.
I'm going to go with a D&D monster. In my head, that's like a jar of darkness. So that D&D monster.
I could totally picture that. However, this is a nocturnal species of bird.
Hey.
There are a number of different nightjars, and one of them was always going to be on this list. And then I discovered that there was one called the satanic nightjar.
What do nightjars look like?
Like birds.
Well, not
Yeah, they got
really.
Yeah.
Well, they look like a human.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
I want to see it. Satanic. I'm going to get a Google search for the satanic in it. Great. That's awesome. Satanic nightjar.
R.I.P. for your ads.
Oh, hello. He's just like a little thrush-looking thing. Actually, he looks a little bit like a frog lizard bird if you get the right angle.
Oh, like one of those.
If you get the wrong angle, it just looks like a thrush, right? But if you get the right angle, then it kind of looks like almost like a toad.
Interesting.
Huh.
Jonathan, you're up next, and you get the dark mantle, all one word.
The dark mantle is D&D, I'm pretty sure.
It sure is. And that was one I was not familiar with, so I have looked it up. And it's basically an evil-looking squid.
Oh, that's right. Okay, cool. Yeah, he is. That is.
I think it's
disturbing.
It's the aquatic ones that I have never yet experienced in the campaigns I've done.
That's why Jonathan's afraid of water.
I mean, it's not specifically the dark mantle, but yes, it is truly animals inside of the water. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm going out with a new person who seems to be really awesome so far, and they're a water person. So I told them my shark story, and they're like, "Okay, I understand, and I respect that you have that phobia, but we're definitely going to get you in the water at some point."
Okay. Jonathan, are you dating a mermaid?
It seems possible. Perhaps a siren. She wants to get me in the water. It seems like
You're
a trap.
Tom Hanks and Splash.
It's a trap. I'm dating Admiral Akbar.
I mean, that joke's too easy. I'm not going to say it. John, the Shrike.
I'll go with D&D monster.
That one is a bird. I've seen these guys. They are also known as the butcher bird because they are known for they're birds of prey, but they're pretty small. But they'll like pick up a little rodent, and then to kill it, they will impale it on like a spiky fence or a spiky branch or a piece of barbed wire or something like that.
Oh, they're pretty.
And then they'll eat at it like a little kebab.
They have a little mask on.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
They're cool.
And they have like a little hook at the end of their beak too. I don't know. They're very distinct. I like them.
Oh, yeah.
Carmela, you're up next with the shoveler.
Oh, bird.
That is indeed a bird. I believe it is a type of duck, or at least a waterfowl for sure. All right.
Does anyone remember that movie, The Mystery Men, from like?
Oh yeah,
2000?
Well.
Wasn't the shoveler one of the
William H. Macy?
William
Right?
H. Macy, yeah.
All right, Will, the horned screamer.
Oh, see, this is.
I dated one of those in college.
Oh no. I was thinking of the joke, but I wasn't going to make it out loud.
I have gotten 2 birds so far, so I'm just going to keep it rolling and guess bird. I have absolutely no idea.
That was a good direction. I thought you were going to say you're going to flip it up and go D&D monster because it is a bird. So you got it.
I thought you were going to say, but I was only given 1 stone, so I don't know what to do now.
Well, both of those birds were in the bush.
Jonathan, the Quasit. Quasit.
The Quasit. I'm pretty sure this is D&D. I think it's a little imp-like creature, so I'm going to say D&D.
You are correct. And yeah, that's probably the best way to describe this little upright lizard situation that my camera is not focusing on. Not that this is helping the podcast audience.
I mean, they can look it up for themselves so they can see what pictures it is that you held up. They have Google.
Yeah, don't take my word for it. Check it out at your local Google.
Local Google.
Yeah, your local Google.
That's funny. That's what I call my phone. It's my local Google.
All right. We're on John. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right. You get the Quetzal. Quetzal.
That's a bird?
It is indeed a bird, and they are so pretty.
Ooh.
They're South and Central America, I believe. Yeah, they're like mint green and red and very, very pretty. Carmela, the Coatl.
It's the Quetzal and the Quaddle. This one is probably not a bird then. I'm going to say this is a D&D monster.
It is. And oh man, I had already conceived of this round, and then I learned that I already knew there was a Quetzal, and then when I learned there was also a Coatl that was a D&D monster, oh, that made my day.
So the cool thing about the Quetzal is the tail. Look at that tail.
Yeah.
That's legit.
One of the more recent additions to the Learned League subdivisions is the league called Quetzal, and I'm the one that designed the logos for the leagues, and I made a Q out of the tail feathers of the Quetzal.
That's by the way, that's a neat claim to fame right there. I did the designs of the league logos or that's pretty cool.
Did you say they were in South America?
I think so.
They're certainly colored like they are.
I mean, they're okay. They're definitely in the Americas, but further south than the United States. So it might be Mexico specifically.
Okay. I'm going to Ecuador for Christmas. So I'm going to keep an eye out for those.
Nice.
Nice.
The coatl is a kind of winged snake.
Yeah.
And if you put them together, you have the Quetzalcoatl, which I think
that was the
must
joke.
literally be what they did. So, John, are you going to find the equator and like put one foot on both sides of it so you could be in both halves of the world at the same time?
I think that is on the docket, yes.
Hell yeah.
I mean, the type of person that goes to Liechtenstein to say they've been in Liechtenstein is definitely going to be the type of person that goes to the equator
I'm
to be on both
south,
sides
I'm
of the
north. I'm south, I'm north.
Will the SMEW, SMEW.
You're getting hard ones, Will.
I think that this is a D&D monster. This doesn't sound like something that a bird person would name a bird, you know? So that's what I'm going to go with.
Well, sometimes bird people are and they name a bird the SMEW.
Oh my God.
And I did not, I kind of randomized these. I did not intentionally like just give you all birds. It's another type of duck.
Oh.
Like, he lives in the city. We'll just give him all birds.
He's a city bird.
Yeah, is pigeon on here?
Pigeon is sadly not on here. There's crow. Jonathan, the green hag.
Green hag. Okay. It's totally viable as a D&D thing, but I've never heard of it, so I'm going to go bird.
That is incorrect. It is
I know, I missed it.
The green witchy, old witchy lady.
Yeah, sure. Boo.
All right.
Boo, Jonathan.
John, the shrieker.
You also dated one of those in college. I'll go with bird.
That one is a D&D monster.
It sounded too obvious.
I apologize. I wanted to kind of do the pair of the screamer and the shrieker, one of each there.
I feel like what we've really learned here is that you had an awesome experience in college.
All right, no response to that, so we will move on. And go
Yeah, I can't say too much to that because most of the time I was in college, I was dating my now wife, so I can't tell you who was who.
Carmela, you get the frog mouth.
This is a bird.
It is absolutely a bird, and it is named frogmouth for a reason.
Yeah.
Similar to the jar that Jonathan pulled up earlier.
It's the bird I was thinking of when he was talking about, this looks like a frog. And I was like, I know what that bird is.
Wow.
Finally, to Will, the Vrock. VROC.
Oh.
I apologize. I did not intentionally make one seat the hardest.
Okay, so I know that a rock in ROC is a big giant bird, right? You know, Lord of the Rings, all that. So I'm going to guess that this is the one. This is a D&D monster.
It is indeed a D&D monster. Good one to end it off on.
All right, that is your warm it up, Chris, for the episode. Before I go forward, Kit, I think it's time for us to talk a little bit about our calendar.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
In case you were not aware, as a listener of Trivial Warfare, Jonathan and I put together a calendar every year. This is the best trivia calendar that exists. If you've purchased, your off the rack, at Target trivia calendars and you read it, you can usually get the idea that,
they suck.
Yeah, they're not well written. There could, sometimes there's some, multiple possible answers, or it's just, a thing that is easy, but in a way that it's not even interesting. Just what's the state capital of this? That's
That's the
not
name
fun
of the
trivia.
bartender at Cheers.
Right. Yeah. You need some more interesting facts or, to have fun puzzling it out. And that's where we come in. So actually it was about 5 years ago now. I was frustrated with one of my trivia calendars that I got off Amazon. I posted on Facebook, this calendar sucks. Am I going to have to create my own? Which resulted in dozens of comments being like, yeah, you should. You write trivia. Why not? Jonathan got in contact with me about it being a collaboration because we're both good at writing trivia, and Trivial Warfare has a big audience.
I sent her a message. I'm like, listen, if you want to do this, I want to do this with you. Let's do this. I want in.
And fortunately, the time of year that message was sent was January. So we actually had time. The first year we did a Kickstarter to make sure that people would actually want to buy it. And turns out they do. So since then, we've just been going our own way with it, with bigger and bigger orders every year. This year we increased it by quite a bit. So this is the first year where we did not just like kind of immediately sell out. So we do have enough for you as you're listening for this. You can get them at triviacalendar.com. They are $25 each. However, if you order more than one, you automatically get 20% off your entire order. And obviously, they make a great holiday gift for your office gift exchanges, for your father-in-law that you barely know. You know, who doesn't like trivia?
It just, when we say it's the best calendar, honestly, we have the best trivia players in the world who vouch for it being the best trivia calendar. It's not just us saying, hey, this is the best. It's literally the best. It's provable. Yeah. So, and we have something nobody else has. We have Humdinger. Humdinger is a very important part of the trivia calendar process.
Speaking of birds.
Yeah. So Humdinger is our resident, what would you call it? Our OCD hummingbird, who absolutely cannot handle when something changes, like a fact changes over the course of a year, or when something is misprinted or said incorrectly. And so Hummingbird comes behind us during the year and posts corrections or updates to the calendar when things need to be changed.
Yep. So she is Humdinger, the fact-checking hummingbird. Anytime there's a calendar question where we look at it and we're like, oh, that's not true anymore. Or occasionally our calendars are thoroughly proofread and fact-checked. But occasionally, something will slip through that, maybe we ask for like the only example of something and someone's like, oh, actually, there's another example of that somewhere on Earth. Then we update our social media feeds. So make sure you're following Trivial Warfare and the Inkling. So you get 2 instances of Humdinger telling you how things have changed or could be corrected from the calendar.
Absolutely. And you can get your calendar today at triviacalendar.com.
And they're shipping now, no longer in pre-order.
There we go. All right. Thank you, Kit. A reminder also, if you love Trivial Warfare and you want more of it, be sure to head over to trivialwarfarearmy.com. Trivialwarfarearmy.com is where you sign up as a sergeant or higher to get access to all of our archived episodes. That includes 2 episodes a month that you cannot hear anywhere else. We have a lot of awesome freaking shows over at trivialwarfarearmy.com. And just sign up as a sergeant or higher and get access to everything. That is going to get us moving forward. I think it's time to say today's matchups. It is Carmela and John versus Jonathan and Will. Kit is hosting, and it's time to play the game.
Players. Oh, yeah. Y'all know what time it is. This is Mr. Literature himself, cordially inviting you to the game. This is 6 rounds of trivia goodness. 3 questions per round. Every right answer gets you 10 points. In the middle, we'll take a pause for the cause and ask a midpoint question worth up to 20 juicy points. After round 6, you can wager any or all those points you've been building up and take a shot at the final round. It's a series of theme-based questions we call the Gauntlet. It's just that easy, baby. But this game ain't gonna play itself, players. Let's get it on.
Your first question of the first round in the category movies. What 2004 film used the tagline, "No matter who wins, we lose"?
That's exactly what I was thinking, Will. I think
right.
we should lock that in.
Okay.
All right, we're locked in.
Carmela, I like your answer.
Okay. The other one I was thinking about was Freddy versus Jason. I think it's a versus movie. So it's either Alien versus Predator or Freddy versus Jason. And I don't remember which one this is because I was working at a movie theater at the time that this movie came out.
That's hard to say. I would pick Aliens versus Predator, but
yeah, that's probably the better one. Yeah, Alien versus Predator. I think that's what we're going with. We're going to lock in.
All right. And Jonathan and Will, what'd you go with?
I mean, I had the same thought as Carmela that it was probably a versus movie. The first thing that came to mind was that, wonderful Lucy Liu, Antonio Banderas property, Ballistic X vs. Seaver. But not sure why we would have lost in that case. So I went to my second choice, which was Alien vs. Predator. So we locked in with the same thing.
And you are both correct. It was Alien versus Predator.
Nice. Did y'all watch any of those? The Alien versus, I guess, any of those. Did you watch Alien versus Predator?
I saw bits of it, going in and out of different houses, as an usher.
It seemed like it was going to have to be terrible, but I never watched it.
I think I half paid attention. I think I was in a room where it was on. But
it's one of those movies, the very first time I saw it, I'm like, God, this is horrible. And then in subsequent viewings, I'm like, okay, it's not that bad.
It's a so bad it's good kind of thing.
Oh,
Kinda.
Okay. That's like Mystery Men.
I feel like I need to quickly write a Mystery Men question, to stick in later in the game. However, it's not going to come up. All right. Question number 2 in the category of holiday music. What performer who originated the roles of Lafayette and Jefferson and Hamilton released the song Puppy for Hanukkah in 2020?
It's funny how something that you know by heart 2 years ago fades into the distance that quickly. It didn't fade into the distance for Will, though. Yes, Will, I agree. We can look that in.
It took me a lot longer to type it than I wanted it to because it kept auto-correcting the first name over and over again. But you guys were locked in, right?
Yep.
It's David Diggs.
Yeah. I'm glad. I could not remember his name. I remembered his face, but I'm glad you remembered his name.
Yeah. So
what a beautiful face it is.
We also locked in with David Diggs.
Yeah, and I feel like I would be doing us a disservice if I didn't imitate Chris imitating Hamilton and say, Lafayette!
Oh, wonderful. It is David Diggs. That's the correct answer. Everyone's 2 for 2 so far.
I have a D&D character named Lafayette.
Ooh,
Wonderful.
what's the class race combo?
It's actually, I was watching a stream that Zach Oyama did. Zach Oyama does Dimension 20, and for a charity stream, and I, paid to have him create a character for me. And I said, I just want a halfling who knows how to have a really good time. So he made me a halfling drunken master monk, and her name is Lafayette Squarefoot.
I love it.
That's amazing. Question 3 in the category of art. Glazed calico textiles featuring woodblock printed patterns, often used for upholstery or drapery, are known by what Hindi-derived term? In modern usage, adding a Y to the end creates a term used to describe any low-quality or gaudy item.
Do you want to go with that answer, Will?
I think it's probably the best that we're going to come up with for now. So yeah, let's go with that one.
All right, we're going to lock in.
Carmela, is that a Hindi-derived word?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But shoddy is low quality or, cheaply made kind of thing. So to take the Y off of it would be shod. I mean, there's chintzy, something that's kind of gaudy, but I don't know. I think shod might be the better of the answers of those two.
Okay. I'm not sure we're going to come up with anything better. So.
All right. So we're going to say shod.
We took the other side of that. We were choosing between kitschy, like kitsch, and chintzy, like chintz. And the back of the question, the low quality, sounded, because kitsch is more like nostalgic kind of stuff. So chintz sounded like it was a better fit for chintzy at the back of the question. So we said chintz.
Yep, Carmela, you should have gone with the late discussion talk. The answer is chintz.
Nice.
Gotcha.
Nicely done. Good one, Jonathan.
I'm super glad chintzy came to me. The clue on the back of the question was great. It made it much more discussionable, right? Before that point, I'm like, I have no idea what to talk about. I have no idea what I'm going to say.
I could feel the tension, when I started reading this, why would I know this? But yeah, that is there for a reason.
I was indeed waiting for an approachable part of that question.
It's just an example of the type of puzzle-outable questions you can get in the calendar next year.
That's right. This year's calendar.
Sure, yes.
2023 coming up. I guess it's hard to say. This year's, whatever, forget it. You know what we're talking about.
The current edition. So at the end of round 1, we've got Carmela and John with 20, and Jonathan and Will with 30.
Woot, woot.
Going into round 2, question 1. Category is Under the Sea.
Under the sea. Under the
Grooved brain,
sea. Sorry, go ahead.
Grooved brain, elk horn, and organ pipe are all names of species of what aquatic animal?
They are spelled exactly like they sound, y'all. Grooved brain, elk horn, and organ pipe. Oh. Oh, yeah, that seems, I love that answer. Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, want to lock it in?
Yeah, let's lock in.
All right.
Coral would make sense because it's probably named based on shape. I can see coral looking kind of like a brain, depending on how it curves in, or like a horn or an antler. So yeah, I think coral is a good answer here.
Okay. My brain first went to shrimp, and I'm like, why would it be shrimp?
Grooved brain shrimp. Mm-hmm. Do you want to go coral?
Sure, we can go with coral.
All right, we're going to say coral.
All right. And Will and Jonathan?
So yeah, at first I thought this was spoilers for the D&D or aquatic creature warm it up, Chris. But no, I'm pretty sure I've heard of an elkhorn coral. And yes, they do tend to look like brains. So coral was the first thing that came to head.
Yeah, as soon as you said coral, I'm like, oh, I have seen the brain-looking coral before. Yeah, no, that's got to be. Sure, if there's something called a grooved brain, it's got to be that.
Absolutely sound logic. It does absolutely look like a grooved brain. The answer is coral.
Great job.
I would also like to give a special shout out to Will Krasnoff for ordering 2 calendars during the recording of this episode.
That's how you get that savings right there. That man just saved $10. That's well done.
I'm sure I could find something to do with an extra one, right? But yeah, everyone buy your calendar.
Thank you, Will. Round 2, question 2. In the category Fun and Games, Can You Save Humanity is the tagline for what board game designed by Matt Leacock, which was released in 2008 but saw a sudden increase in sales in 2020.
Oh, I bet I know what it is.
I definitely know this one, Carmela.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. 100% on that.
We're locked in.
Yeah, do y'all want to do like a? I think we all kind of. I think we're here.
I think we all feel pretty confident.
All right, let's 3, 2, 1 this bad boy. Kit, count us down, please.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Pandemic.
Not too often you get to all say that word in unison and have it be in a happy scenario. But yes, the answer is pandemic.
It was a good game before the pandemic, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
And now it's PTSD.
I have 2 board game apps on my phone. I mean, I have different games that I play, but that were specifically board games first. And that's Splendor, which is my favorite, and Pandemic. And I looked at it a lot during 2020 and I was like, I can't open this app. Like, I can't do it.
Like I'm sure many people did at the beginning of quarantine. Me and my fiance went out and we bought a bunch of board games, Pandemic being one of them. But so she was a high school athlete, a college athlete, and the sort of cooperative nature of the board game never really gelled for her. So we were very bad at Pandemic because we're much better when we're competing with one another. So it's fun, I imagine, but with 2 people, it can be repetitive.
Your fiance and I are similar. Like Chris and I have played board games a bunch, and he's totally great with co-op games. I don't really enjoy co-op games that much. I want to compete. I don't want to compete against the game. I want to beat you.
I love those.
Isn't that kind of what D&D is, though, Jonathan?
Yeah,
it is. But you know what? The difference for D&D is collaborative storytelling.
Fair enough.
And I love storytelling, so I'll do that all day long.
Question 3 in round 2 in the category literature. What 2020 romance novel by Emily Henry has a title that describes both its setting and where the reader may take the book itself?
I don't know if it's intentional in the question, so you can decline to answer this if you want. But is the question implying that it is a place that you might take this specific novel or this specific work, or that you would just take any old book?
I would say the specific book, and that it was intentional. So.
You said it was a 2020 book?
Yes.
I am sorely lacking on my romance novel knowledge.
We're going to lock in. Not happy about it, but we're going to lock in.
A romance novel could lead to a chapel or a church, but it probably doesn't. Romance.
And I'm not sure why you would
romance
take
doesn't lead to marriage. Come on, that's not what you're going to make a romance about.
Yeah.
Like the bedroom.
Yeah,
maybe there's like practical tips or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I got nothing here. I'm thinking. Right, there's the beach, right, or like something like that, because people like to read on the beach. Romance novel is good for vacation.
But it's this specific novel, so it's almost like, to me, that's like a puzzle book kind of thing where in order to appreciate the thing or solve a puzzle or whatever, you have to go to a place and do a thing. That's kind of the direction I'm taking.
It could be. Okay, so the other thing is, right, she said 2020. Maybe it's another sort of COVID-related thing. Maybe it's just quarantine.
You take it into quarantine?
With you and read it. It's 2020. You're reading while you're in quarantine. I don't know.
The quarantine romance.
Yeah.
I got nothing better. None of what I said is good. So sure, if you want to say quarantine, I can get behind it.
Let's give it a shot.
All right. Yeah. Quarantine.
All right. Carmela and Jonathan, what did you go with? Or sorry, Carmela and John, what did you go with?
We didn't know. But there was a Netflix show called Emily in Paris that I feel was a book originally. And you could take a book to Paris, and we couldn't think of anything better, so we just said Emily in Paris.
All right. Will, you were briefly on the right track. The title of the book is Beach Read.
We
takes place on a beach.
Carmela even said the beach.
I like the beach.
Boy, that's a hard one to get to if you don't know it, though, because even if you said beach, it's not right.
Yeah, it's ringing a bell though. Now that you say it, but
Beach Read.
I believe it was some level of bestseller, so it was not a super obscure book.
Oh yeah, of course.
Was it a mega hit though?
I'm not sure how mega hits are calculated for books, so we'll say yes. All right. At the end of round 2, we've got Carmela and John with 40 and Jonathan and Will with 50.
All right.
Moving into round 3, question 1. Category is history. This is a long one. What is the 2-word term used to describe a number of distinct pre-Columbian North American cultures who notably created raised earthworks as ceremonial or burial structures? They were primarily present in the Great Lakes region, the Ohio River Valley, and the Mississippi River Valley, if that helps.
Are you asking for the name of the peoples or the name of the raised earthworks?
The peoples. So it's a term used to describe a number of different peoples that created these earthworks.
Oh.
About a minute left.
Okay. We'll go ahead and lock in with very little confidence.
We won't have much coming up behind us, so.
I don't have much.
I was just telling John that it's great that I have something new to learn about, but I'm irritated that I don't know more about it now. I do agree with you, John, that mound feels right, but I don't know what the other word would be.
Right. No, we're just going to have to pick something.
So you threw out mound tribes and mound builders.
Have you thought of the round mound of rebound?
Considering that she asked for a 2-word thing, no. I
hadn't thought about that at all. I don't know.
Mound builders sounds more, I don't know. To me, that sounds better than just mound tribes. But
okay, then we'll go with that. Mound builders.
All right. What'd you pick, Will and Jonathan?
I mean, First Nations felt like it was going to be too generic. 2 words lends itself to me to be like Iroquois Confederation or something like that, but that's more northeast, kind of New York area. And I think the one that we went with is probably too far west, but we went ahead and said, we felt like it was going to be a group of tribes, an overarching higher level name for a group of tribes. And so we were looking for those, and we ended up going with Sioux Nation.
Well, one team is going to be very happy because you stumbled on the correct answer of mound builders.
Whoa.
wow.
Well done.
Holy
yeah,
moly.
So the distinct part was meant to say, like, they were like unlinked tribes, like that all happened to make these mounds. I live in the Great Lakes region, and there are several like historic mounds around here that are, very ancient. So
yeah, didn't know there was a 2-word group title for those peoples.
Yeah, because I also thought about First Nations. I'm like, but that's what we call them now for people who exist now. Like, I don't think that's what we would call them then. So I didn't.
And it was inclusive of everybody, not just the
Mm-hmm.
area specificity was
right.
Was like more. It has to be something else.
Question 2 in the round in the category of pets. A fast run, a kick of the hind legs, and a shake of the head encompass a behavior in happy or excited domestic rabbits. This action is known by what name, which is also a term for something an infant may use?
I think my first answer is probably the best I got.
Yeah, I think we should go with that. I think that sounds the most sort of zoological of the things that we've listed.
Okay. Then.
Cool.
Wait, it's not more zoological than exosaucer. Come on. All right, we'll lock in.
All right, John and Carmela, you can talk.
I'm sitting here thinking about, okay, I want to eliminate more things, but of course now I can't think of like, what the hell do babies use?
Trying to remember what my kids used when they were little, but I mean,
but rattle is, I think is the best thing I have.
And I agree because that was the first thing that I went to as well.
Yeah, because it seems like it would be like if it's like a shaky kind of movement, rattle shake. They're not pacifying themselves. It's not like some sort of blanket. So just want to go with rattle.
Sure.
All right, rattle.
Yeah, we were thinking that rattle in the same way, it's like it can be both a verb and a noun. And you can also have like a death rattle, which is a series of actions all happening at once. So yeah, we went with rattle.
I absolutely understand the logic, as opposed to the real answer, which I'm not sure the logic in the naming. But the movement is known as a binky.
Oh.
It was pacifier.
I did suggest binky as an answer.
Pacifier.
Binky was one of our options.
Wow, yeah, Jonathan, I thought you were joking with when you suggested binky.
No, I was.
But,
I wasn't joking, but it was just like I don't know how you can make that a verb.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know that it is. It's the action is no, like I don't think they're binkying. I think they're like doing a binky. I think is how it would be phrased.
Like
I'm not sure it's a super scientific term, but it is like a widely used term amongst people that have rabbits.
Like I know that binky is used as a name for a pacifier. I've never used it that way. Like no one in my family ever has. So I wouldn't have gotten to binky ever. I would have just said pacifier.
We never said that either. So,
but now I know.
All right. Question 3 of the round in the category of music. Mary Morello is an activist who was involved in the U.S. civil rights movement of the 1960s and founded the anti-censorship group Parents for Rock and Rap in 1987. Her only child is most famous for being a member of what band that formed in 1991?
I think I know this, Jonathan.
100%.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't remember what the name was, but as soon as you said that, yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, we're locked in.
Yeah, actually, I just listened to him and his mother on Lithium Radio the other day. He does a radio show with his mom on Sirius XM. It's Tom Morello. It's Rage Against the Machine.
Jonathan Will?
We said the same thing.
I assume so, and that is the correct answer. That is the end of round 3, and going into the midpoint, we have a tie. Both Carmela and John and Jonathan and Will have 60 points.
That was a bad round 3 for us there, Will. We had 50 going into round 3.
Yeah, that was a tough one, but it's, here we go. We got some juicy points coming up.
Yeah, we do.
All right, because it is time for the midpoint question. The category is architecture. I will provide you with the name of 4 cities, and for 5 points each, I want you to provide the current name of the tallest skyscraper in each building. So no monuments or communications tower, just skyscrapers specifically.
Okay.
And the 4 cities are London, San Francisco, New York City, and Dubai.
I mean, you live in New York, so I'm going to defer to you.
I know. I should know this. It's like...
Architecture and skyscrapers? No, sir. That's not my category.
Yep.
About a minute left.
We are brimming with a lack of confidence. And we'll go ahead and lock in.
All right. Burj Khalifa, One World Trade Center, One World Tower, One World Tower, the new World Trade Center.
Right.
Google Tower.
For San Francisco.
And I think you're right that they do, that the people call it a gherkin, the Gherkin Tower or whatever. But I think it's that building, but I don't know if there's a more proper name for it.
I'm sure there is a more proper name for it. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah. So
just say the gherkin and hope she accepts it.
Who's gherkin exactly?
So Gherkin for London, One World Trade for New York, Google Tower for San Francisco, and Burj Khalifa for Dubai.
So similar answers going in reverse order. For Dubai, we had the Burj Khalifa. For New York City, we had Freedom Tower. San Francisco, we had absolutely no ideas. We went to the San Francisco Chronicle building. And last but not least, London with its famous Snuffle-Opinion building. So we went with the Snuffle-Opinion building for London.
I like it. I don't know if it's a reference to something, but I like it anyway.
Oh, you're behind. You're so behind. If you don't know what the Snuffle-Opinion is, you have to go back to building. You have to go back to episode 400. Then you'll learn your Snuffle-Opinion.
I am behind. So for London, the Gherkin is a skyscraper in London, and I believe that would have been an acceptable name for it. However, there's one that is even taller, and it is known as the Shard. It's like a big shard of glass.
Oh,
and
I
when
think
it was,
I might have heard of that.
When it first went up, there was some issues with like light reflecting off of various parts of it in certain ways that were like.
Oh, is that the Death Ray building?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, it was like melting cars.
Yeah. They had to install some like heat shields, basically, to deflect the reflecting light. In San Francisco, this one is probably the hardest one to hear. Not too far off with Google Tower because it is a tech company, but it is called Salesforce Tower.
Will visibly upset.
That was in my that was in my brain. It was rattling around in there. But actually, I thought there. I think there's also a Salesforce Tower, maybe in New York, but I might be confusing that. But anyway,
there definitely are some. When I was looking at the list of, various tallest skyscrapers, the tallest building in the entire state of Indiana is also called Salesforce Tower because there's also one in Indianapolis. I don't even know if it's
11 stories tall.
Right. Yeah. It's not nearly as tall. In New York City, the name of that building is One World Trade Center. Yeah. Not Freedom Tower. I apologize to our New Yorker here.
Will, you're killing me.
She said it and I was like, yep.
And then you both got Burj Khalifa. So, points all around on that one. So after the midpoint, we've got Carmela and John with 70 and Jonathan and Will with 65.
All right, that is the end of the first half. And before we go on to the second half, I want to let you know that today's show is sponsored by BetterHelp. We are officially in the middle of the holiday season. Thanksgiving is past, Christmas is coming up, and a lot of us are in situations where we're going to see people we don't usually see. We're going to be affected by the holidays and by the season itself. And it can be hard sometimes. Nobody knows what anybody else is going through. And sometimes things get difficult. And you just kind of wish life came with a user manual, right? Where it's like, okay, turn to page 3 and, oh, that's what I need to say. That's how I need to act. But that's not the way it works. And, navigating our different circumstances and situations can be really hard. And that's where a service like BetterHelp can come in and help. I can tell you that sometimes with me and my therapist, Crystal, I find benefit just by saying, hey, this happened, that happened, and being told, Jonathan, that's normal. That's not a big deal. You shouldn't be beating yourself up over this. And because we have those kind of conversations, it's more meaningful when we have a conversation and it'll be a case of, oh, no, Jonathan, you may want to rethink that, because I know that if it was normal, if it was okay, then she would say that. That can be really, really helpful as you examine your life, as you look at as you think about how you operate in the spaces that you operate. Having that person that you can talk to honestly, no holds barred, holding nothing back, can be all the difference between happiness and struggle. And as the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp's already matched over 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists. It's all 100% online, and it's affordable. You just have to fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist, and if things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. Totally easy. Couldn't be simpler. There's no waiting room, no traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist. You can learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/TWA. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/TWA. Today's show is also sponsored by Water Cooler Trivia. Our friends at Water Cooler Trivia are so excited about the games that they've been opening up at new companies, at companies who are looking for ways to engage their employee base, to have more fun, and to build relationships in a time where a lot of people aren't going into the office and don't have as many engagements, as many things to talk about. So Water Cooler Trivia solves that problem. They create a game that can generate lots of conversation and lots of ways to connect. The trivia games by Water Cooler Trivia are handwritten by trivia nerds. They come every week into your inbox, or it can even be integrated with Slack or Microsoft Teams, which makes it really cool. With Water Cooler Trivia, you can set the difficulty level depending on the people that you're playing with. You can also set the date. You can set the day that you're answering questions. You can say the date. You can set the date that they're due. You can say, these are the categories we want questions about. It really is customizable, and it is a great way to create some camaraderie and some fun in a work environment where that is sorely lacking. You can head over to watercoolertrivia.com today and sign up for a 4-week free trial. You don't even need to put a credit card in. Just get started with a free trial. You can even do this with your friend groups if you want to. It doesn't have to be the office. But if you're somebody who has some influence in an office place, think about this. This is a really great way to foster some team building and some engagement. And it's a no muss, no fuss, free trial. No credit card needed. Go to watercoolertrivia.com today and get your team signed up. Today's show is also sponsored by EveryPlate. EveryPlate is America's best value meal kit service, and it is 25% cheaper than getting the same stuff at the grocery store. And not only that, but it gives you the instructions, so it makes it easier to make the meals that you're going to make. You get to choose between weekly recipes as they're sending you the food. They're always changing things out. You can swap orders if you want to. During this time of year, none of us have as much time as we would like. And EveryPlate really, really helps to save time. You put it together. You take 30 minutes to cook. You take another 10 minutes to clean after everything's done, because we all have to do that, right? But still, that's nothing. That's so much less than when I cook something from scratch. And I'm telling you, I have had some great meals with EveryPlate. Some pork chops. You know what my favorite thing is the part about cooking things that I would never cook otherwise. I wouldn't even think to buy the stuff at the grocery store. And so I'm expanding the kinds of foods that I'm willing to experiment with and willing to cook. It is such a good setup and such a good deal. See, that's what sets EveryPlate apart. They give you these awesome meals, awesome ingredients, awesome instructions, and it doesn't cost a fortune. In fact, you can get your first box for just $1.49 per meal by going to everyplate.com/podcast and entering code TWA149. So that's a new link, so I want you to pay attention. You can get started with EveryPlate for just $1.49 per meal on your first box by going to everyplate.com/podcast and entering code TWA149. Give it a try today and make your holidays just a little bit simpler. All right, let's get on with the second half of today's game.
Round 4, and your first question is in the category of literature.
Literature.
Named for the house in which they started it, what was the name of the publishing company started by Leonard and Virginia Woolf in 1917?
We're locked in.
Talk it out, Jonathan and Will.
The only publishing company that's sort of explicitly named for a house that we can think of would be Random House. And so
wouldn't it be great?
It's
like, yeah, we're just in this house. That's all. If we were at this place last week, we're over there next week. It's just a random house.
Yeah, so I guess that's what we're going to go with.
I think that must be it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know. Like, So Macmillan is a publishing company, and like Macmillan House sounds like it could be a
I
thing.
feel like there's a
but
multiple
you're not
name.
getting that.
Macmillan and Laughlin or something like that. I feel like that's a two or three named thing.
I mean, I don't know. This is whatever this is a cool fact because I'm assuming it's going to be a publishing company that we've all heard of. And, I wouldn't have been aware that Random House or X publishing company was started by Virginia Woolf. So yeah, I think Random House is probably the best we can do here.
Yep. Let's lock it in.
All right. And what'd you go with, Carmela and John?
We both kind of thought of the same thing at the same time. So they've merged with Penguin at this point. They're now Penguin Random House, but we said Random House.
All right. And I should have guessed that that was maybe some neg bait when I asked this to my husband last night, and he missed it. Also probably should have assumed that it was too hard when my husband also missed this. But the imprint was known as Hogarth Press.
Oh, okay. I do know that one.
No, not me.
It is also now a part of Penguin. So it does still exist, although I'm not sure that they're printing anything new from it or if it's just the press that things are reprinted in. Moving on. Question 2, category is literature with a question mark at the end.
Literature?
There you go.
Is this one Random House?
This one has to be answered in the form of a question.
Yeah.
Literature?
Famous for 15 minutes, strange lawsuits, and stall of fame are among the regularly appearing features in what long-running series of books?
That seems like a viable guess.
I think that fits the question.
Yeah.
Unless it's
different.
unless it's like something. Yeah, unless it's
Unless
not.
it's wrong. Which,
All right, let's go. We'll lock that in.
John, I don't know. Whatever 18 books James Patterson has sneezed out this year.
Or had ghost written.
It seems like it's something that would be absurd, which was why I said Goosebumps. Because, for Goosebumps, it was like, it's this, but it's not really this kind of thing. And I'm pretty sure that R.L. Stine is still putting those out. But I have no idea.
I don't either. My literature knowledge is pretty bleak. Despite the fact that I constantly have to write questions for it, but
it's not the Babysitter's Club. For some reason, I keep going to children's books because those are usually like really long series of books. Just want to say Goosebumps.
Sure.
Unless you feel strongly any other way.
No, at first I thought it might be a weird dig at my own podcast because we were constantly getting crap from people because we put comic book questions in our literature section. But I was like, no, there's no way that. So plus I don't think those are at all related to comic books. Let's just go with Goosebumps. I got nothing else.
All right, Goosebumps it is.
Jonathan and Will, how about you?
Okay, so there were two things that informed my thinking on the answer that we're going to give. The first was the category, which was literature with a question mark. I was like, literature? Meaning, does this count as literature? And the second was Stall of Fame. So Stall of Fame sounds like Hall of Fame, right? But bathrooms, stalls, right? Okay, well, what kind of thing do you read in the bathroom? Uncle John's bathroom readers have a whole lot of books that come out. They could have a Stall of Fame as a funny little name, and their literature is... So we said Uncle John's bathroom readers.
Sound logic all around. It is indeed Uncle John's bathroom reader.
Yes. Yes.
I've never even heard of that, so I was never going to pull that.
4 of them over here.
If you've been to, well, I feel like now I'm accidentally calling Jonathan out, which I don't mean to. If you've been in a boomer's house that has like a little basket of books in their bathroom, it's probably in there. But it's kind of along the lines of like a Ripley's Believe It or Not. Like it's, like lists of fun facts. There are trivia questions in there, but
it's like 300 pages long, and it has like some of them have literature synopsis. Like you get 1-page versions of Pride and Prejudice, 1-page versions of Shakespeare books. And so you can really learn a lot from a bathroom reader.
I know 2 people who have those books. One is Jonathan. And the other person is Chris Hollister.
Uncle Chip. Uncle Chip had a ton of them.
Too,
So, but indeed, literature with a question mark at the end there. All right. Final question for the round in geography. What European nation has a name that means single house?
You good with that?
Sure.
All right. Just doesn't exude confidence. We're locked in.
All right, Jonathan, Will, you can talk it out.
We've named a whole lot of countries, kind of talking it out and trying to think of it. And the two that we're kind of thinking about right now are Monaco and Sweden. And don't forget, I mean, San Marino, Vatican, Switzerland. There's lots of in the land, and it shouldn't be any of those, right?
Yep.
Sweden. I don't think den means room or house in Scandinavian. So I think that's probably a long shot. Monaco does have the MON, which mono is similar or a prefix that could mean single. I don't know if Akko could be house. We didn't talk about things like Austria or Slovakia, Slovenia. Honestly, out of all the ones we've named, a lot of them, maybe close to all of them.
Eastern Europe, I mean, that's hard because I don't really have any sort of linguistic feel for
Estonia,
what that might mean.
Latvia, Lithuania.
Yeah.
I think Monaco is our best answer, man.
Yeah, let's go with it. It has the mono sort of prefix, so maybe.
Yeah. And I think it's a kingdom, right? It has a royal family, so it's the single house. It's a ruler too.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to guess Monaco.
All right. John and Carmela.
Kamara. All right. Alvin Kamara on the podcast today.
Carmela.
Yeah, we threw out names like Estonia. We did laugh that it would be funny if it actually was Liechtenstein.
Sure.
But ultimately, we also went with Monaco.
Mono, it's a tiny place. Let's hope.
Yep, it is derived from the Greek monoikos. I can't even say it. It is Monaco.
Nice.
Mono and oikos is apparently Greek for house, like the yogurt.
Like the yogurt.
Yeah, the yogurt, yeah.
Ah.
So at the end of round 4, Carmela and John, we have you with 80, and Jonathan and Will have 85.
We took the lead.
Round 5, question 1. Category is sports.
Sports.
I believe this is the only sports question of the game. So either be happy or sad about this. Shiny flag bearer Pita Taufatufa has competed in both the Summer and Winter Olympics for which nation? In 2016 and 2020, he competed in Taekwondo. In 2018, he competed in cross-country skiing. Taufatufa, I think, is probably the correct pronunciation of that. Pita is like the bread, P-I-T-A. His last name is T-A-U-F-A-T-O-F-U-A.
What about...
Yeah, let's go with that.
That's sticking in my head a little bit. Rings a bell?
Yeah.
All right. We'll go ahead and lock in.
Yeah.
All right. They're locked in. John and Carmela, talk it out.
I was just about to type to you, all islands have left my brain. Shiny. What is...
Yeah.
Oh, was he like shirtless and oiled up? I don't know.
I mean, immediately my head goes to that song from that one Disney movie.
I can't help you. But Pacific Islander is not a bad way to go. But like I said, all islands have left my brain.
Samoa.
Do you think that maybe he could be like a New Zealander?
I thought about that too.
Like he's part of one of the Maori tribes or something?
Yeah, the shiny thing is sticking in my brain now. Now, especially since you pointed it out.
It's just it's an odd descriptor to put into a question. If it's
the question is it because he, as the flag bearer, is shiny, or is it a shiny flag that he is bearing?
Right.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's because he was soaked in sweat and glistening.
It would be fun if there was like a country who stipulated that their flag like must be presented glossy.
Right.
Like I don't know how you would do that.
Our flag includes LED lights.
Right.
You just laminate it.
International,
It doesn't wave very well.
That's going to be a requirement for Oaksopia someday.
Yeah.
I want a holographic flag. like a baseball card.
Right.
I don't know, John. sports is a bad spot for me anyway. Olympics might be worse.
I mean, Pacific Island nation would make sense, but also New Zealand definitely makes sense because you would have skiing there.
Right.
Nothing else is coming to me, so.
New Zealand it is.
All right.
All right, locked in with New Zealand. Will and Jonathan, what'd you lock in with?
Yeah, so, I mean, we were also in the Pacific Islands. I mean, I have a very vivid memory of this beautiful, beautiful man in his sort of bare and oiled chest.
So that's why he was shiny.
Yeah.
It was definitely like an Olympic meme, and I sort of remember him, holding the flag and it being like, a very small country, maybe like 1 to 2 athletes, which is part of the reason why he was, I think, flag bearer for both winter and summer. So we sort of started at Samoa, and my thought was that at least for the Summer Olympics, and I don't know if rugby was in the Summer Olympics when this occurred, but they could definitely field the rugby team, so it wouldn't be that small of an Olympic team. So
I thought you were making a joke about them being very big people.
Oh, they play rugby. They're good
Gotcha.
at rugby. I remember it being something slightly more obscure, so Jonathan suggested Togo, and that felt right to me. So that's what we went with.
You're going to be very mad at yourself.
Oh,
because Togo is in Africa, but Tonga is in the
Tonga.
And you were thinking in the right part of the world, and you were thinking of the correct country, but Tonga is the correct answer. Yeah, absolutely. That is why the word shiny was in there. He is a very attractive man and was very shirtless and shiny as flag bearer.
I felt like something felt wrong about Togo, but I couldn't put my finger on it. It's Togo and Benin, right? They're right next to each other in Western Africa. God.
I was going to say, I thought Tonga, and I was like, no, that's in Africa. So,
Oh, Will, you didn't say that. You could have said that. Oh.
Hilariously, when I asked my husband these questions last night, he also said Togo. I am not entirely sure if he was picturing it, like if he actually thought he was answering the African country or not. All right. Well, question 2 of the round in the category art and sugar ? Yeah, it's a Kit question. What brand of sweets has a logo designed by Salvador Dali and originally had a slogan that translates as "It's round and long lasting"?
That is also a description of me. I'm hard to kill, y'all. You said it was a chocolate?
Sweets.
Oh.
I feel like as a fat guy, I should know this instantly.
About a minute left.
In my house, a grapefruit is round and long lasting. It'll sit on the counter for a month.
Just wait till it petrifies and then you could use it as a deadly weapon.
Need some answers.
Yeah, you want to go with this one?
Sure.
All right, we'll lock in our wrong answer.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're right behind you. We've gone through a list of some candies, trying to figure out which is the right one. I'm assuming that Necco wafer is the one that you're like, is that really a sweet?
No, actually, I was referring to the chiclets. To the gum.
Chiclets?
I don't know if I would classify gum as a sweet.
Oh, okay. I would. Probably Werther's is not a bad way to go. Gobstoppers feels too new. Jawbreakers, I don't know. Werther's Originals probably is okay. It's probably not right, but it's probably the most correct thing that we've come up with.
Just got to hope that their answer is also just as incorrect as ours.
Oh,
So,
to have
Probably.
no fear.
Yeah.
Have no fear.
there is a Werther's Original.
Sure.
All right, we went through a lot of stuff. I mean, it started with Gobstoppers, obviously, for everybody, I'm sure, but the translated meaning of the slogan is like, crap, it's going to be a foreign sweet. Oh, no. So we started like, is there a foreign name for Starlight Mints? Is there we went through all kinds of stuff. And at the very end, we kind of hit on, well, maybe we were talking about mints, and maybe it's like a long-lasting in terms of fresh breath, which could be a different spin as opposed to the candy being long-lasting. Even though you may not call it a sweet, that's everything is negotiable, I guess. So we end up going with Altoids.
Well, the correct answer is a brand of lollipop that was definitely very popular when I was in middle school and high school. I'm not sure how much they're still around.
Is it Dum Dums?
Is it
No,
Chupa
it's not
Chups?
Dum Dums. It's Chupa Chups.
Chupa Chups.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Chupa
As soon as
Never
you
heard
said
of
high
those.
school, I was like, oh,
Okay,
it's Chupa Chups.
Yeah, it is a Spanish lollipop brand, but they definitely have them in America.
Okay.
And the name of the brand comes from the Spanish verb chupar, which means to suck, similar to the root of chupacabra.
Goats.
Also, the root of many nicknames, I'm sure, for best friends in Spanish.
I even said to John, I'm like, what's a Spanish candy? Completely forgot about Chupa Chups.
I've never heard of them, so I wouldn't have pulled
neither.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I realized until more recently that they were a Spanish brand, but when I learned that Salvador Dali did their logo, kind of went hand in hand. Last question of the round in the category, I hope you had the time of your life. In March 2006, the first tweet went up on the site. Just setting up my Twitter was posted by an account with what 4-letter handle? And in that tweet, Twitter had no vowels at the time. If that helps, it should not help. It's just how Twitter was spelled when it went live.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we should probably just go with that, Jonathan.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
We'll lock in.
All right, locked in.
I mean, you definitely have more knowledge of this than I do. I'm just playing devil's advocate at this point.
Right. So it was in the middle of typing. It's probably a reference to the fact that Twitter is crashing and burning right now. So I think that's where the category is coming from. Also, the song is called "Good Riddance."
Right.
Honestly, this does feel like the appropriate end to Twitter for all of what it was and has been. It feels like this is the perfect ending for it.
Yeah. But Jack Dorsey was the head of Twitter for forever. I think he's one of the founders, and his Twitter handle is @Jack, which is 4 letters. So it would not surprise me that he was the first person to send a tweet, and he's had @Jack this whole time. So we're going to say Jack.
All right, locked in with Jack. Jonathan and Will, what'd you go with?
Is there any truth to the rumor that the second Twitter handle was by a really muscular person who was @Jacked? Because that'd be amazing.
Well, it just occurred to me, Jonathan, that
Oh, no.
ELON is a 4-letter handle, but
ELON?
no, I think.
Oh, come on.
Elon.
Come on. Who that man?
I had the same thought as Carmela. That's exactly right in terms of logic. Jonathan came at me with Andy, and I was like, "Do you know something I don't know here?"
I was just asking. The name Andy popped into my head for some reason.
So yeah, we went with JACK, Jack.
And you are both correct. It was tweeted by Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey. The other co-founder, can't remember his full name, but he goes by Ev, and his handle is @EV. So I was leading you in the correct direction with a 4-letter. So at the end of round 5, still a 5-point difference here. We got Jonathan and Will with 95 and Carmela and John with 90.
Let's keep it rolling, Will.
So close.
All right, barely hanging on. Just
Round 6, question 1 in the category of typecasting. Brian Dennehy played Willie Loman in Death of a Salesman on TV in 2000. 5 years earlier, he portrayed a salesman who dies in what feature film? Feature implying not a TV movie.
That's totally it, Carmela.
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Okay, cool. Then we are locked in.
It becomes one of those situations where you try and get your answer by figuring out why the question is being asked. Why would a salesman dying in a movie be memorable? And essentially.
what was the name of the category?
Typecasting.
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 So that's what I was trying to answer: is why would a salesman dying be memorable, as opposed to any movie where a bunch of people die, a horror movie or that kind of thing. But then something did come to mind. 7 came to mind as a possible answer because 7 people die in that movie. At least, and greed is one of them. So you could have a salesman who's a greedy salesman be a logical choice for why a salesman would die in a movie that would be a little bit memorable. And 95 feels like a right time zone. It might be 7 might be a year or two earlier than that, but it's close. And he's not a star. He's a secondhand guy. You see him in a lot of movies as playing a part like the sergeant on a police force or the dad, but he's never the featured actor on the banner.
I mean, yeah, I'm fine with 7. I don't like so my issue with 7 in this question is that I feel like the question implies that we like know the character in some way, right? Whereas in 7, the characters don't get any screen time other than just being, dead corpses.
Yeah.
So it would be hard to pull like, oh, this guy was a salesman from basically like the exposition over the slab, right? That's my only concern with that. But I mean, I'm trying to think if there's a better answer. Like, why would a salesman die? Like,
I mean, the other route is something like Casino, like a mafia movie, but I don't recall him being in. I mean, I don't recall the people in 7 at all, which makes it more attractive to me because I don't have to remember him, as opposed to something like Casino, which is like, okay, I just cannot place him in there.
Is it like, what about Die Hard? Yeah, I don't know.
Not the right year.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with 7.
I think he probably was in Die Hard 2. I could see him definitely being on the police force in Die Hard 2, but not a salesman.
I think we can just go with 7. Might as well.
All right, we're going to guess 7.
Carmela and John.
I would not have gotten there if you had not reminded me about that, because my initial knowledge of Brian Dennehy movies was First Blood, Cocoon, and Romeo and Juliet. And then she reminded me, wasn't he in a Chris Farley movie? And he plays the father of Tommy Boy, who dies and sets him on his journey. So we went with Tommy Boy.
No.
Yeah, you were kind of circling around it, guys. It was like he did play a dad. He did play someone that died at the beginning of the movie that set the course of action for the movie. But yeah, he played Chris Farley's dad in Tommy Boy.
I have seen that movie too. That's
Dadgummit.
That's a great question.
Good job, Carmela.
Thanks.
Nicely done.
That's
I was like, I don't know which one it is, but was he in some Chris Farley movie?
Fun fact, my mom once met Brian Dennehy at a rural Pennsylvania Perkins family dining restaurant. No idea why he was there.
Yeah, he fits there. That sounds about right.
It is not surprising that he went to a Perkins. I just our hometown is not somewhere that you really even pass through unless he was, I don't know, filming something in the forest or something, which
I think he passed away not that long ago.
He did, yeah. I think it was pre-pandemic, because everything now is post or pre-pandemic.
Right.
Not too long before that. Question 2 of the round. More buildings, sorry. Sometimes boasting the probably not provable title of most photographed hotel in the world, the picturesque Chateau Frontenac towers above what city?
Could you spell Frontenac, please?
Frontenac. I'm going to repeat the category because you may have thought the last word of the category was a side comment rather than part of the category. Category is more buildings. Sorry.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right. We're locked in.
So, yeah, that makes a huge difference. Quebec City or Montreal? Which way do you want to go?
I
would think Quebec City. That's the more picturesque of the two.
Yeah, precisely. That's my thought.
Okay, we're going to guess Quebec City.
All right. And John and Carmela?
We were trying to figure out if the sorry was you giving us a hint, or he's like, I don't know if this is. I'm like, I don't think people in Ohio say sorry that way.
yeah, it was intended, and then it the longer that it was taking. I mean, not that it's obvious once you get the hint, but
I didn't hear the
I thought I should repeat
part
it.
of sorry.
Yeah.
I definitely picked up on that immediately, so I immediately was like, I know it's not Toronto, so I was like, maybe Montreal. So we ended up going with the other one that you didn't choose, which was Montreal.
Oh, okay. Oof. Oh, come on, baby. Come on. Be Quebec City. Let's do this.
All right. Well, one of you is correct. And it's Jonathan and Will.
QC.
Now I want to see a picture of this thing. It's Chateau Frontenac?
Just like a real castle-looking hotel that it's like significantly higher than the rest of the city, and it's like right on a river.
The lead has slipped again.
I was thinking it would be cool if it was like a hotel right behind the Eiffel Tower or something. So all the pictures of a famous landmark also have the hotel, which makes
I think that happens a little bit because I think it is like very prominent in Quebec. So like if you're taking, just any photo like in the city, like I think it could possibly.
Yeah. And if you go to Epcot and you do the World of Nations or the exhibit of the different nations, This is the visual style of the castle in the Canada area.
Okay.
So this is as soon as I pulled it up, I'm like, oh yeah, this looks like Epcot.
Huh.
Final question of round 6 in the category The Post Office. Initially introduced in 1938 as book rate, what's the alliterative term for the U.S. Postal Service program that allows books and recorded material to be shipped at lower costs?
I think the second one that we said.
Yep,
is
I
the
think
best
that's.
one we have.
I agree that that's probably the best we can do, not just coming up with random things.
All right, we'll go ahead and lock in.
But page post is what came to me first. I'm trying to think of something that would go with stamp, but I don't know. I don't know the answer to this.
I don't either.
You want to just say page post?
Yeah, we can just go with that.
All right, we're going to say page post.
All right, locked in with page post. Jonathan, Will, what'd you come up with?
Something very similar.
Yeah, we had pretty much the same discussion. Carmela, story stamps. Of
course.
But no, we didn't go with that. Jonathan suggested print postage, so that's what we went with.
You were definitely, if you had brainstormed enough, you may have come up with it because it is 2 words that, kind of go together in similar ways. But this is called media mail.
Oh, we were close with media medley. Oh,
I was
no.
trying to think of something that started with M. When she said like printed or recorded media, I was like, or printed or recorded whatever, and I was like, media. Yeah, what starts with M and is related to the post office?
No. Yeah, I definitely, I was like tiptoeing around using either the word media or mail in the question.
John literally threw out media as a suggestion. I was like, I don't know.
No, that doesn't sound right. Not for a post office. Come on.
Dang.
So going into the gauntlet, we still have 5-point difference. We've got Jonathan and Will with 105 and Carmela and John with 100 even.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so we got to come up with our wagers. Let's figure those out.
Oh, I think you want to know the
What's the
category
category
first.
Things you don't know.
If and or but. In case you were wondering, a lot more than average questions that stumped everyone. I'm sure you already picked up on that.
Hadn't noticed. Yeah.
I mark the ones no one gets in Trivia-matic when I put in there, so that when you do the round number games, Scott can go back and find all of the.
There you go, Scott.
And yeah, usually it's like 1 or 2 a game. It's a lot more this game, and now I feel bad, but
no reason.
I feel like it's still been fun to play.
Absolutely, it hasn't felt like a low-scoring game. We're gonna lock in our wager. Oh, they're thinking it over. Thinking it over.
Our wager's locked in.
All right. In your gauntlet category, if and or but. First question. Building a big tall house with rooms by the dozen, filling his yard with chicks and turkeys and geese and ducks, seeing his wife with a proper double chin. These are a few of the things the character singing dreams of doing in what 1960s show tune?
You know the song, right?
Yes.
Okay, we can lock in.
All right, our answer is locked in.
Question number 2. Before playing Cassian Andor in the new Star Wars streaming series, actor Diego Luna voiced bullfighter Manolo Sanchez in what 2014 animated film?
Yeah. That's the answer.
Yep.
We can lock in.
Our answer is locked in.
And your final question of the gauntlet. What word, which comes from Greek roots meaning beauty and buttocks, means, you guessed it, having a beautifully shaped buttocks? Wiktionary.org lists bootylicious and bumtastic as synonyms.
Bumtastic? I've never heard that one. I think we gotta go with this. That's the best we have.
Yeah, I think that's the only option.
Yeah. I don't think dump truck is the right answer. All right, we're gonna lock in a wrong answer. You guys need to pick a wrong answer too and just finish it. Finish him.
It's not Greek though, or else I would have been like, yes, let's just go with that. But I think that might be our best thing.
Yeah, I got nothing else.
Our answer is locked in.
Let's go back to question 1 for our answers. Question 1, building a big tall house with rooms by the dozen, filling his yard with chicks and turkeys and geese and ducks, seeing his wife with a proper double chin. These are a few things the character singing dreams of doing in what 1960s show tune? Carmela and John, what did you come up with?
I had to rack my brain a little bit, and I feel like I got to it through Gwen Stefani. We ended up going with If I Were a Rich Man from Fiddler on the Roof.
All right. And Jonathan and Will?
It was such a hard thing to watch them get that. But we also said, if I were a rich man, that I saw Fiddler live in person earlier this year, and I hadn't seen it
that long
before,
ago.
and it was amazing. I absolutely loved it. So that was an insta-get.
All right. Question 2. Before playing Cassian Andor in the new Star Wars streaming series, actor Diego Luna voiced bullfighter Manolo Sanchez in what 2014 animated film? Carmela and John?
John, this is you.
Yeah. I actually don't know for a fact that he was in this, but it's an animated film about a bullfighter, so we went with Book of Life.
And Jonathan and Will?
We went with an animated film about a bull that also has the word "and" in it, featuring John Cena. We said Ferdinand.
All right. And 3, what word, which comes from Greek roots meaning beauty and buttocks, means, you guessed it, having a beautifully shaped buttocks. Let's switch order this time. Jonathan and Will, what'd you get for that one?
We struggled here trying to figure out Greek roots and everything like that. But, for us, it came down to either backtacular, bumptious, or badonkadonk. And we settled on badonkadonk.
All right. And Carmela and John?
We thought we were giving a joke answer, by the way.
We didn't know either. John and I were literally just looking at our message thread and just not saying anything. just staring at blank screens. So John did throw out Badonkadonk. I thought about, okay, maybe something Greek. So I know Hellenistic, maybe Helen of Troy, but we just couldn't get there. We also ended up just going ahead and saying Badonkadonk, which is most certainly not the right answer.
Doesn't feel right.
Okay, so let's
She's
see what our
double
answers
checking
are
to see
here.
if badonkadonk could be acceptable.
Yes. Badonk from the Greek for beauty, and Adonk for the Greek for buttocks, of course.
All right. So the first one with the song lyrics, yeah, you obviously both got that. That was If I Were a Rich Man. I'll do the next one where you gave identical answers because I don't think anyone's fooling anyone here. Sadly, not badonkadonk for question 3. It is a word that I hope will enter everyone's vocabulary now because it's very fun to say and butts are fun. The word is callipygian.
Oh, I've heard that word before.
Oh, like calliope?
I believe that
Never heard that.
Like caliper, perhaps.
Oh.
I don't think it's
to
like
measure the
caliper.
butt.
Something that you squeeze. Yes.
The bullfighter Manolo Sanchez was in Book of Life.
Whoa.
Wow.
So we were
Years later.
following a false narrative, looking for ands and buts in the answers. Then.
The theme referred to if in the answer for the first one, and/or in the title of the streaming series in the middle, and but in the last one there. And you were correct, John, that Channing Tatum is also a voice of a character in that. But
Good job, John.
Bullfighter.
All right. It comes down to wagers. John and Carmela, tell us, what did you wager?
So I thought you were either going to wager 4 or you were going to try and lock us out. And if you're going to lock us out, then we might as well just bet everything. So that's what we ended up doing. Even though I hated it then, I hate it now. We bet everything. So we're going to end up with 0.
Oh my. Okay. That was not what we expected you to do. Yeah, but we did bet 4 because we knew that we struggled with the game. We were in the lead, but we missed a lot of questions. And so it's like, okay, the likelihood of us getting all 3 is pretty slim. And with that in mind, we bet 4. So we'll finish with 101-0. Our winners are Will and Jonathan.
Yeah.
All right.
You would have won anyway because we would have bet 4 and we would have bet, 0.
5 or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. For sure. No, as soon as you missed one, we knew we were fine. But Will, this time we win in the gauntlet.
Yeah, it's
We played together before.
Betting it all.
Congratulations.
All right. Love that. That was a really good game. The scores were a little lower than average, but I think the questions were definitely just as enjoyable. The challenge level was right up there, and it was a lot of fun to play that one.
And now everyone knows some more things, including how to describe shapely buttocks.
Calipigian.
Calipigian.
And obviously you need to carry some calipers just to measure and squeeze. I'm going to try that. By the way, before we wrap up, I was showing off my print of your octopus with slap bracelets to somebody
yeah,
the other night.
Years ago.
I had somebody in my library over here, and I noticed it, and I was like, oh, I got to show this. This is one of my favorite things.
Oh.
So shout out to you. I brag on your art more than you know.
This wall that I'm facing, I mean, there's 2 windows here, but this whole wall that I'm facing is full of Kit art, like birds. Lots of birds. I have the cat with the beanie right there. When we were talking about the candy, I was looking, I have the kookaburra blowing bubble gum. Yeah. And I was like, well, that's round.
For everyone that is not friends with me on Facebook or follow me on Instagram, I draw a lot of birds, but especially in October of every year. I do Flocktober, which is my take on Inktober, and I draw a bird every day, sell the originals, and then I sell prints and postcard booklets and whatnot.
Yeah. Where can they find that if they want to go look at your prints?
Oh, gosh. I kind of closed down my Etsy shop because it was not particularly fruitful. So you can actually, it's a weird one, sekelsky.square.site. You can get some prints right now.
There you go. Easy peasy. Sekelsky.
Yeah, look at the show notes for the spelling of Sekelsky.
Site.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, guys. Well, that is going to wrap us up. Oh, no, it's not. Hold on. Congratulations to Will. And we like to give everybody a chance to do shout outs and promote causes they care about. So, Will, we'll start with you.
Quick shout out to my friend Rory, who's getting married today.
Congratulations,
my oldest
Rory.
Friend, so shout out to her.
Good day.
Very exciting. And then other than that, just in terms of causes, I would say that, winter can be a tough time of year for some people. I personally have dealt with mental health difficulties in the past, and I have people close to me that have dealt with mental health difficulties in the past. So just think any chance that you have to talk about it, normalize talking about it, is important. So, if you're feeling blue, call someone, call your friends, or find a mental health outlet out there. I know that BetterHelp has been sponsoring this podcast before, so that's a great one as well. So just be mindful of your mental health, and pick up the phone, call your friends.
Absolutely. BetterHelp has sponsored Trivial Warfare all year long. They literally bought an ad for every front-facing episode this year. So that's betterhelp.com/TWA if you want to go that route. And before we go to John, I've been forgetting. I've thought about it like 4 times and forgotten to say it because it wasn't the right moment the whole episode. But happy birthday to Carmela.
Whoa.
We're recording on Carmela's birthday, and she has not said anything about it the whole recording.
Should have worked in a fun fact. I know you don't get asked for your fun facts every week, but I feel like I should have known that as well. So happy birthday.
Thank you. It's also Rowan Ward's birthday today. They are my birthday twin. It's also Meg Ryan's birthday, and it's the anniversary of the Gettysburg Address. So these are all things that have happened on this day, as well as Will's friend's wedding anniversary will now be on this day. So
it's a good day.
Happy birthday to listener Meg Ryan.
And we're going to John. John, promote your causes or share anything that, or shout out anybody you want to.
Quick shout out to my wife, Christy, and my children, Avery and Rowan, who both also love listening to the show. And I know my brother would be very angry with me if I did not shout out our own trivia podcast, Throwback Trivia Takedown.
Woo. Absolutely. And you have episodes with people like me and Carmela and others on that show.
And Kit has been on there as well.
Absolutely. Kit, over to you to promote causes that we care about.
Yeah, well, as you may have guessed or may have figured out by now, we have a calendar for sale at triviacalendar.com. If you enjoyed the slightly harder but very fun to think about and learn about questions featured in today's podcast, you can get many, many more like it all throughout 2023 by ordering your calendar today at triviacalendar.com.
Boom. Do you want to shout anybody out?
Nah.
No, poor husband. Poor husband. It's no love.
He
I
knows.
asked him all these questions last night, so the odds of him listening to the podcast are fairly slim. But yeah, I've got a husband. I love him. His name's Matt, and he rules. You can read a story written by him in the latest issue of Asimov's science fiction magazine. So
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, well, now that's going to wrap us up. So, for John, for Will, for Kit, and Carmela, my name is Jonathan. This has been episode number 404 of Trivial Warfare, where it's not just trivia, it's war. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Trivial Warfare. Be sure to check out the revamped TrivialWarfare.com as your one-stop shop to submit questions, join the community, and get access to over 150 archived episodes. Warm It Up was written and performed by Matthew Stevens. This episode was edited and produced by me, Joel Sharpton. For help with your podcast, visit propodcastingservices.com.
That's
Carmela,
amazing.
you know what's super fun about that to me is with the group that I play with, we have 3 different character sets, and one of mine is also a drunken monk halfling, a stout halfling, and his name is Pumpkin Kegbottom. And he literally, his whole thing is he's from a family of famous brewers. Like Kegbottom beers have become a thing in our world because of my character. It's great.
I've got to play with her a few times for a few one-shots, and it's always fun.
I'm currently playing a monk. She is a Harengon, so she's a rabbit person.
Ooh.
And she has a Valley Girl accent and was asked to take a vow of silence by her monastery, so she chose to leave instead. And her name is Chloe with a K and an I.
My group used to run with speaking of funny names, used to run with a dwarf who called himself Iron Butt Rusty Pants.
One does lead to the other. That's amazing.
Awesome.
All right.